All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
So, Jeff, you went through a major ending of a part of your life, the life that was this marathon runner, this very fit person, to this new part of your life. And you went through a pretty significant transition. What did that transition look like for you emotionally to get to this place where you are now, where you're in this place of more gratitude?
It's hard to answer that truthfully because a lot of it I don't remember. You know, it's like you just do it. You just have to keep moving. So the gratitude piece was huge for me. And I wish, it was like some profound thing. I know that sounds so simple, but until I was there real time and had to execute, it just wasn't real to me. So that gratitude piece was a big deal. And the more I learned about it, the more I started to find things to be grateful for. And then one day I was like, okay, well, what can I be grateful for about this disease? Like, what's great about it? Well, nothing's great about it. It sucks. Okay. Well, if I could find something to be great about it, what would it be? All right. Well, I don't have a shellfish allergy. This is a true story. This is true. I was walking on the beach on Sullivan's, and this is how this went down. I'm like, all right, well, I don't have a shellfish allergy. And so I'm like, Alan has a shellfish allergy. I wonder, like, why? Why did some people have it and some people don't? Like, that sucks for them because shellfish is so good.
It's so good. Yes.
And then I'm like, well, I guess their bodies are different. You know, their body, something about it is different, and their body responds differently to shellfish. I wonder if my body responds differently to this disease. I wonder. So then I started doing some research and looking at some things that I might be able to do to move my body, and did what any smart male athlete would do. Take it away, Natalie.
You tried them all.
I went back to the gym.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you did. Yes.
So I did. I was like, all right, well, maybe I can do this. Because, like, it was important to me. It was part of my life. And there was a lot of, okay, well, if I don't run a sub 6 mile, then who am I? If I don't deadlift twice my body weight, then who am I? If I don't put in a faster time than the young kids, then who am I? And anyone that's in that loop, try to change that question to who am I becoming?
Yeah.
Instead of who am I? So I started kind of toying with the idea of going back, and gratitude was still a big part of this. That was still what I was working on. And I sought out a coach, and I think that's a piece there too that helped me is like, I'm fit. I write my own workouts. I know how to work out. I don't need someone to motivate me. I'm motivated. I know nutrition. I know programs. And I sought out a coach because there's things about my disease that are different. Neurotransmitters, the catecholamines, the adrenaline, the endorphins, all the things you get from exercise are bad for me. They're bad for my heart. And that's part of the reason exercise is bad. So I found a coach. I said, hey, here are the things that I can do, the exercises that I can do. Here are the things that are bad for me. Adrenaline is bad for me. So I need a coach that's going to help me with these lifts because they're heavy, they're short. I need someone, I don't want to get hurt. I want someone to help me do them right. I need a place to work out that's quiet, no music. No one that's going to cheer me on. And I need to be alone, and I need to make sure that I don't die, keep me alive. If something happens, call an ambulance, give me compressions, keep me alive. And this idiot said, yeah, he would do it.
I was like, I'm sure he was like, yeah, that sounds ridiculous.
You're like, less of that cheering. That's the cheering that you can't do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So I went back to the gym, and I start with just a warm up. And I knew that it was going to happen. And you're both probably too young for this, but there was a show, Sanford and Son, Red Fox on it. He was a comedian.
Oh.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Elizabeth, this is a big one. That's how I felt.
On the couch. Yeah.
Oh.
That was my life. That's how I felt. So I went back to the gym, and as soon as I started warming up, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's going to happen. I can feel it," and it didn't. And so then when we started really doing warm ups, getting into the exercises, like, "Oh my gosh, it's going to happen. I can feel it. Like, here it comes," and it didn't happen. And then we started the workout, and the workout where it was a kettlebell press. So you start with the kettlebells on the ground, you take them up into your front rack, and then you press them up. And they were heavy. So it was short. And that was what I was limited to do. I could do really heavy or intense weight, but only for real short periods of time. So he had written a workout for me. I think it was like a 21-15-9, but I started the workout and I was probably, I don't know, 15 seconds or so into it. And I quit. Like I dropped the kettlebells and I quit. And to say that I quit, like I quit on life. Right there. I quit. I was done. And like, I'm saying it like in this calm adult voice, but I was crying, like there was snot, like I was done. I quit. And I said, I quit. I can't do this. I'm scared and I shouldn't be here. And I'm done. He said, yep, I got it. You quit. I got it. But I just need you to give me 30 seconds. Just give me 30 seconds of work and then we'll end on a win and we'll be done. It's like, no, you don't hear me. I quit. And when I say I quit on life, like if anyone's listening that's ever been there, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry you went through that because it is awful. And my wish is that if you haven't been through it, that you never go through it. So we argued back and forth and there was yelling and cussing and you got two alpha male workout guys. One wants something and one wants something else. So finally I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I have to say this out loud and it embarrasses me every time I say it, but I secretly hoped something happened when I started the workout again, just to prove to him that I was right.
Yeah.
So I picked up the kettlebells and I started the workout again and I was going to do 30 seconds. So I did it. I did it slow, very slow. And I set him down and he said, that's amazing. You did it. You won. That's 30 seconds. I was like, I think I can go another 30 seconds.
Shocking.
And we're back.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
and I did another 30 seconds. But again, it was slow. It wasn't like this fast, tough thing. I just did a slow 30 seconds of movement. And I set him down and he said, man, that's amazing. That's more than you should have done. And that's a win. I was like, yeah, I think I can go another 30 seconds. And so I did. And he said, all right, well, let's do this. Just go 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off and stop when you want to stop. But I did. And I did the whole workout. 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off. And in that hour and a half of that workout, I found myself in the depths of truly quitting at life and getting my life back all in that time frame. And that's how I did it. And I started from there. I built up from there. And I had to give myself grace and I had to understand that what we do as humans is we want to rebuild and return where we were. And I couldn't do that. But that prevented me from healing mentally, mentally healing. So I had to figure out, hey, I'm building. I'm just building new. And when you feel like your life just falls apart and everything blows up, be sure and grab the bigger pieces that you see laying around. Because eventually you will build back and you're going to need those.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so I think the key there is you had a coach that knew to push you, not huge, but just push you enough to get you a win. And so you weren't ending that depth that you were in where you were ready to just quit on life. And then it was just from there, just a little bit at a time, that's important because I think some people think that they can do it on their own. Like, I got this. I don't need any help. Yeah. Especially men, I think, tend to do that.
Wait, what?
I know, it's shocking. And so for the fact that you were courageous enough to know that you needed somebody to step in and hopefully take you on that journey to get back to where you are today, which is a new.
Yeah. You made several good points. And one, I would like to point out what you said is he knew to push me, but not too much. I think that's important. And in a similar vein, I would never suggest anyone be reckless with their health. I did the research. The coach did the research. He was familiar with the disease. But yeah, to your point, it was too easy to quit. And I knew that if I didn't have someone there to push me, I would probably have rolled over.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had a tremendous amount of fear that still existed, though, Jeff, in that moment, right? Like heading into that workout, that fear still existed, hence you quitting. That's not without judgment. I'm just saying, like in that moment of realizing I can't do this. I think that's the fear that's bubbling up, that's controlling your decision, not the actual ability of your body at that time.
Right. Yeah. And the fear was overwhelming. And, as we're not supposed to say we're scared. We're not tough if we say we're scared and all these things. But the fear, it was so overwhelming. And it was so many things. Like I realized that death was real. You hear people say, there's a really famous entrepreneur says, I'm not scared to die. I was dead for thousands of years and I was fine. And I get it. But man, once you're there, and you live it, like you literally live death. Like I can tell you what death tastes like. The fear is unreal. So there's that piece, but there's also the piece for me. And this might relate. We're not people that are scared to fly. We're not scared of a plane crash. We're scared of the 60 seconds it takes to fall 35,000 feet with everyone screaming and the chaos. So for me, it was as much the fear of dying, but I also had this fear of getting shocked by this thing 200 times on the way to the hospital, trying to get my heartbeat regulated. So there was a lot. And I did not give myself that grace to be afraid.
I think that's such a big piece.
Yeah.
And you've not had that experience, right? It's not activated that it's had to bring you back yet.
Correct. No, I have not. Yeah, that's so like my whole thing like now is 30 seconds at a time. I just take things 30 seconds at a time. And I've got I have a keynote written on it that I give. But comically, people that know me and know what happened around the community, they'll ask you, hey, so how is everything? I'm like, 30 seconds. Don't get shocked. That's it.
That's CK, not OT. That's not shot, but shocked.
Right.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, and I love that 30-second analogy, and I think it's also used in the service, right? Like if you can just go another 30 seconds, and I think that analogy can be used, or that rule and principle can be used in any area of life. And if it's something that you're going through physically, mentally, emotionally. Like if you just need to face something for 30 seconds, you can do anything for 30 seconds. At least if you carry that mindset, I can do anything for 30 seconds. Let's just do it for 30 more seconds. Yeah.
Yes. And you always have, you would be so amazed at what you can endure if you just hold just another couple of seconds, right? So another couple of seconds is another couple of seconds is another couple of seconds. And then you're at 30. And it's not that long. You would be amazed at what you can endure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, Jeff, you've taken this experience that you've gone through, your personal life experience, and you've now are in this space where you too are working with other high performers and entrepreneurs and executives and coaching them and guiding them. What does that look like when individuals are working with you?
So one piece that I didn't tell of this story. So June was my first episode. That's when the big episode had. July was when I was conscious of it and knew what was happening. And that really sent me into turmoil. And August, my wife of 23 years gave me a great gift of divorce papers. So the growth and the development that had to occur to endure all of these things gave me such a gift of, and I say a gift of divorce, I was devastated. I was absolutely, like you talk, like literally heartbroken. I was heartbroken, literally, figuratively, all of it. But it gave me such a gift of really having to sit with myself, which is a scary thing to do. I've found myself with this unique gift of being able to identify in others the things that I was doing. It's not normal to run an ultra marathon at 50 when you have kids that expect you to work out with them the next day and you're doing it overnight. So you're done at 2 a.m. So what was I hiding from? What was I trying to control? And I've used those lessons to identify in other high performers, other entrepreneurs, other founders, to identify what they're doing now that they're hiding from, which has been really an amazing gift. I would like to have learned it from a book.
But would you have? No.
True. Very true. Yeah. Very true.
You wouldn't have learned it.
Right? It's from the experiences that we have. And I would imagine working with high performers and especially entrepreneurs, you pour your all into this thing that you've created, whatever it is, product or service. And so it doesn't seem like it should be a bad thing when you're disappearing from the rest of the world to pour into what you love, right? That's the biggest challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the consistency with entrepreneurs is it's never enough. It's never enough. The hedonic treadmill, right? You set a goal and you think that the goal is a revenue, or you think that the goal is a profit, or you think that the goal is a number of employees. Then you hit that and the fulfillment is not there.
Yeah.
Move the goalpost.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. We get buried in busy. We feel like we have to be the first one at the office, the last one to leave. We feel like we're measured on how much dirt we take out of a ditch. It's a theme. It's a constant theme in the entrepreneurial world.
Natalie and I wouldn't know anything about anything.
I was about to say, you guys, I'm sure, identify with that.
What you talking about?
Not at all. No. Well, you did touch on a piece, Jeff, when you talk about like the emotion when you're faced with having to just sit with yourself. I think that's something that people should try to create in, that space without having it tied to an event. Unfortunately, yours was tied to an event, but I think once you are comfortable with facing yourself and really understanding who you are, it is nice to have that understanding and relationship with yourself, like knowing here is the truth about me, right? Like I'm hiding in these places. I'm not really authentic in these other places. And I really don't know why I signed up to do X, Y, and Z anyway, because I don't like it, right? Like you can have those honest conversations with yourself.
Yeah, but they're so scary. They're so scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you raised such a good point, Natalie. The reason I signed up for ABC, even though I don't like them, is because if I don't, then the dust might settle. Then I've got to look at what's in the dust. And it's still a struggle for me. I still struggle with that. Why do I set these big lofty goals? Why do I want to volunteer to be the chapter of the EO Charleston, to be the president of the EO Charleston chapter? Why do I do all these things? Because it keeps me busy. It keeps me from having to look at where I might be failing. Another interesting thing that I learned, if there was one question, and this is a struggle for me, just like we talked about, my mind fights with the happy versus sad. One question that I try to remove always is the question, but what would they think? But what would they think? You know what? I don't want to do this anymore. You know what? I don't want to run today. Oh, but what would people think? What would they think? I'm going to walk with my dog for an hour instead of run. But what would they think? It's hard to say the words because it's embarrassing, right? I'm like exposing parts of my soul here, but it's so true. And if you can get there to that place of honesty with yourself, then it's really relieving.
And I think it's so tied to this belief about our worth. If I'm not doing this, will I be worth it? And I think that's that dialogue that goes in our head all the time. Well, what would they think about me if I don't do this? What will they think about me if I quit this and I don't show up for this? And that's one of the hardest things for us to do is get out of our head and drop down into just our authentic self and just show up as who we're meant to be.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. One of the folks that I'm working with now, one of the top implementers in the world. And part of his challenge is, if I'm not performing and I'm not producing, then what am I worth? God, well, let's explore that. Let's talk about that. What are you worth? Tell me. And he said, I have to bring value. I bring value by money. Okay. That's good observation. Who told you that? Well, I just know that. Okay. So what you're telling me, what you're saying out loud is that if you don't bring money to your family, that you have no value. Yes. All right. So if you have no value to your family, what does that mean? So, well, they won't love me. It's okay. That's our basic need, to be loved. That's what we're terrified of, is not being loved. I said, okay, so they won't love you. So what you're telling me is if you can't provide money to your family, then you bring no value. And if you bring no value, then they won't love you. He said, yep, that's it. It's okay. Now I want you to say that out loud, but here's the catch. You're saying that out loud to your family, to your kids, that's what you think of them. He was like, oh my gosh. Like these stories that we tell ourselves. But when we tell ourselves these stories, we are putting that on the people that we love the most.
Yeah.
We do it to protect ourselves. I get it.
It's our own little cage, right? We build ourselves into it.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Very well put. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like the crux, right? It's like the punishment of success.
Exactly.
You build yourself into this trap.
Yeah, exactly. What a great exercise. Say it as if your children were saying that, or say that to your children.
Yeah.
Express that same sentiment to your children. That hits really deep.
It was painful for me to even say it to him. Like it was almost ugly and underhanded, but you hear it. And I learned too in all of this that like shame is a strong word. And I think it's a strong word just because we don't say it often, but shame lives in darkness. A lot of the things that, like my fear, I didn't talk about my fear. I kept it in the dark and then I was ashamed about it. But you put a little light on that stuff and it can't live. Shame can't live in the light. So things like that, you bring it to the light and now all of a sudden people say, okay, yep, now I understand. And you may feel that way, but now you get a better understanding of what you're putting on other people when you tell yourself those stories.
So true. Oh my gosh. Jeff, you've given us so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I would love for you to share just one piece of advice, something that we haven't touched on today that you want to leave our listeners with. And you've given
advice.
Yes.
Advice is tough for me. Advice is like
words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. Experience. So I'll say this. If you're in it, you're in it. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. As high performers, we do not do that. We don't. We're too busy finding other people to give grace to. Mm-hmm. We don't give ourselves grace. And then that will give you a little bit of wiggle room to start trying to figure it out. Bandwidth, whatever you want to call it. That would be some advice there. Give yourself the grace you would give a friend.
That's huge.
Like that.
Absolutely. And you are coaching individuals. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you or reach out to you in terms of coaching opportunities, who's your ideal client and what does that look like if they want to connect with you, Jeff?
My ideal client is the entrepreneur, the founder, the business owner, the executive, the person really what I love. Here are the people that I love to work with, the people that have met what they thought was success, but they're still unfulfilled. Those are the people that I love to work with. And if the people that are stuck, if you're stuck, like you've gotten there, you've churned, you've burned, you've gotten there, you've done the grind, and you just don't know what to do next, or you're scared, whatever step it is that you want to take, you're scared to take it. That's the ideal client.
Nice.
Perfect.
Fabulous.
Feel like there's a lot of those people out there.
Unfortunately,
I was going to say there are a lot that may not even realize it just yet. But when they do, you'll be here to help them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you keep chugging along, right? That's a good point, Natalie. You just keep chugging along. Oh, it'll get better tomorrow. It'll get better tomorrow. It'll get better tomorrow. Until you move, you're just at the same place.
Exactly. And we talk about it a lot on the show, like who you're surrounding yourself with really makes a difference. And so having a coach that's there to hold you accountable, sometimes hold the mirror up and ask you those tough questions like you shared with your client. Like, can you honestly say this to your child? Like, those are the things that we wouldn't do for ourselves in our own space. So having a coach is tremendously helpful to unlock and discover some of those things for yourself if you choose to, right? That's the magic of this all, is that all of this is that you have a choice. You have a choice.
Yeah, that's it. None of us need it, right? We'll be just fine. We're surviving just like we are.
Yeah. If they
choose. Choosing.
This has been wonderful, Jeff. Thank you for sharing your personal story as well as your wisdom and knowledge with us today. This has been lovely. We'll make sure that we put all of your contact information in the show notes so our listeners can track you down if they want to connect with you and work with you. And yeah, best of luck with your 30 seconds at a time. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, y'all are fun. You made this easy. Thanks for having this podcast and giving people like me space to tell their story. It's cool.
We love it.
Absolutely. That's why we're here. That's why we started. So thank you for taking the space and taking the time. We appreciate that. For our listeners, you all know the deal. If you want to learn more about what's happening in the world of Reignite Resilience, head on over to reigniteresilience.com. Until next time, we'll see you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.